The UK is currently going through a period of economic uncertainty. Whilst the politics of Brexit take time to unravel, if they ever will, INEOS has to get on with business. We have no time to wait. Flying in the face of the uncertainty brought by Brexit, INEOS has demonstrated its commitment to both Europe and British industry by announcing a €3 billion investment at Antwerp and a £1 billion investment here in the UK. Which is why I'm here today in Hull, one of the sites that will benefit from that decision. We delve into the impact of the biggest investment in European chemicals for a generation and more in this edition of INTV. Coming up, we take a look at our announcement to invest €3 billion in Antwerp.
It's the first investment of this level that we've ever made, of €3 billion. So what this new chemical facility does is balance INEOS's books in Europe.
We head to the sites that will thrive off INEOS's huge £1 billion UK investment. We look at INEOS's commitments on plastics recycling and how we are making strides to move towards a more circular economy. And as always, we'll provide all the latest exciting news from across the INEOS group. The current economic climate has meant many British businesses have put their investments on hold, or worse, turned away from the UK. However, INEOS has never followed the crowd. We do what's best for our businesses, and that's led us to make these investments in the UK, at Grangemouth, here in Hull, and in FPS. INTV went to find out where the money's being spent and what that will mean for the sites and their futures.
In February, INEOS made headlines by announcing that they are to invest over £1 billion into their UK assets, ensuring they remain world-class for a generation. The biggest investment will be the modernisation of the Forties pipeline system in the North Sea. Opened in 1975, the 500-kilometre pipeline transports up to 600,000 barrels of North Sea oil every day to onshore refineries. INEOS's investment of £550 million will see safety and reliability overhauled, bringing in state-of-the-art technology and prolonging the FPS into the 2040s.
The Forties pipeline system is the primary transport route for oil and gas from the North Sea. It's very low cost because it's a pipeline system rather than ships or other methods. It's the safest system, and what it will do is that these investments will modernise, will reduce costs, they'll be more energy efficient, and simply will still be able to offer our customers the best option to stabilise and bring their oil and gas ashore.
At the Grangemouth site, a £350 million investment will allow for the development of a new combined heating and power plant. This, alongside a number of other energy improvements, will make the site cleaner and more energy efficient.
It's a new energy plant which will supply the site for decades to come. State-of-the-art technology, improved environmental performance, and what we're actually talking about is actually a huge vote of confidence into Scottish manufacturing and into Scotland in the long term.
A further £150 million is being invested to develop and build a vinyl acetate monomer, or VAM, plant at the INEOS site in Hull. VAM is a key component in the production of products such as paints and adhesives. This investment will give the Hull site the capacity to produce up to 300,000 tonnes of VAM every year.
In the UK, there's 75,000 tonnes a year of demand for VAM, which all has to be imported at the moment. If you go to continental Europe, there's hundreds of thousands of tonnes a year of demand, which at the moment has to come from the United States, from Asia, from the Middle East. That's a gap that we intend to plug.
There's a real buzz in the air. The whole business community is talking about it. We were inundated with calls. It's a great thing for Hull. It's great to hear of all the new jobs we're going to create, and also it's very exciting for INEOS.
Behind me is the site where the new vinyl acetate monomer plant will be built, which will bring the production of a key raw material back to the UK. And here to tell me a bit more about the implications of this for the area is Kevin Briggs, the site manager. Kevin, welcome to INTV.
Thank you, Tom.
So tell me a bit more about the plans for the VAM plant build.
As you can see, Tom, the current plant is being dismantled and that will take around 6 months. In the meantime, there's a project team which is designing the new plant. They're taking the design phase through, which we expect to take to around the end of this year.
Okay. And once the plant's finished, how many people are going to be working on it?
We believe there'll be around 40 full-time jobs for the VAM plant. And of course, there'll be many more jobs for the contractors that support the site as well.
And what about apprentices? You're going to have opportunities for apprentices on the site here?
That's correct. We normally employ 1 apprentice a year. The plans to build a new VAM plant, we're going to be taking on 5 apprentices this year. So we'd like to get some young people working in the organisation right from the start.
Excellent. Great news for the site, great news for INEOS. Kevin, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Tom.
But it's not just in the UK that we're making investments. It's happening at our sites across the globe. And our site in Antwerp has just received some pretty good news.
INEOS have not just invested in the UK. A €3 billion investment in Antwerp was announced earlier this year, which will see an ethane gas cracker and world-scale PDH unit built on the site.
It's the first investment of this level that we've ever made, of 3 billion. Because our derivative plants have been so successful, we now, if you take ethylene, we're using 4 million tonnes a year of ethylene, but we're only producing 3 million tonnes. So what this new chemical facility does is balance INEOS's books in Europe.
The €3 billion investment is the largest in the European chemical sector in a generation and will be a game changer for the Belgian economy.
Antwerp is thriving, and today I can say it with some credibility. We can have every confidence in the future.
Another historic announcement there, which will be transformational for the industry and the region. But that's not all our news. There have been even more deals, announcements and events from our companies across the globe in the last few months. So let's catch up with those stories.
Recently, INEOS have been very busy across the world showing confidence in the market. At the end of last year, INEOS announced the acquisition of the Ashland Composites business for $1.1 billion. The deal comprises 20 manufacturing sites in Europe, North and South America, Asia and the Middle East, employing over 1,300 people. In China, INEOS Styrolution has acquired 2 polystyrene plants from Total. With sites in Ningbo and Foshan, the agreement represents Styrolution's first production move into China. And hot off the press, INEOS Enterprises has recently signed an agreement with Tronox to acquire its titanium dioxide pigment business for $700 million. This makes INEOS the second largest manufacturer of this product in North America. Staff in Cologne, Germany officially opened their new €30 million 3-storey office block. The office brings together all the administrative staff for the first time. The open plan office has been modelled on the O from the INEOS logo.
The investment in this building here at the Cologne site is really a statement of investment for the future. We've got a long track record on site of investing in our assets, and this is a really visible demonstration of investing in the assets of our people, which of course is the most important part of our business.
INEOS in Shanghai has also brought teams together, combining 3 offices into 1 and making their operation more efficient. The official opening of the new office in March was hosted by Kevin McQuaid, CEO of Styrolution, and attended by Minhao Zhu, Mayor of Shanghai Municipal People's Government, Putuo District.
It's the first time in China that we've combined all the various different INEOS businesses in one office. So we have 6 INEOS businesses now in a brand new global headquarters in China. It shows that we're really quickly developing our business in China with some great opportunities for future growth.
There's been more exciting news from the INEOS-backed movement, the Daily Mile.
Who will swear allegiance?
ITV and the Daily Mile have partnered up with 20th Century Fox and Working Title's new live-action movie, The Kid Who Would Be King, to launch a new ad campaign encouraging schools across the UK to sign up and take part in the Daily Mile.
Who will join us?
It doesn't stop there for the Daily Mile. Sport England pledged their support with a £1.5 million cash injection to spread the word to every primary school in England. This represents the biggest expansion of the scheme and will fund 11 local and 2 national coordinators to bring more of England's 20,000 primary schools on board. Another year and another epic graduate trip is underway. Earlier this year, the Houston Marathon signalled the end of training for the grads. Currently out in the Namibian desert, INTV will be catching up with their adventure in upcoming editions. Team Sky has become Team INEOS, the same team under a different name. At a packed news event in the build-up to the Tour de Yorkshire, Sir Dave Brailsford and Sir Jim Ratcliffe both spoke of their excitement about the new partnership and their hopes for the forthcoming season.
It's clearly the #1 cycling team in the world. It's probably, one of the most successful sporting teams in the world.
In the last few days, I thought, okay, this is going to be really exciting. But actually what I'm feeling is a great sense of pride. I can see the INEOS bus behind you, here with Jim. I've seen Chris in his new kit, and I just feel proud of it all, really.
But that's not the only momentous sporting announcement INEOS have made lately. On the 65th anniversary of the breaking of the 4-minute mile, INEOS announced that it will be supporting an attempt to break the last great barrier of modern athletics, to run a marathon in under 2 hours. Eliud Kipchoge, fresh from his win at the 2019 London Marathon, is the athlete stepping up to cement his place in the history books. INTV will be delving further into these historic sports stories in the next edition.
As you can see, there's a lot going on around INEOS at the moment, but there's one area where we cannot overstate our dedication and commitment. Plastics in the environment is a huge issue, and it's one that INEOS wants to tackle head on. This next special report looks at our ongoing initiatives and our new pledge to try to change the way people look at this material.
Plastics are making headlines, and in 2019, plastic waste is a very real problem. However, plastic provides the foundations for modern life, whether in construction, transportation, medicine, or renewable energy. It's a material that benefits us all, every day of our lives.
So many people in the world today rely on plastics. And of course, in today's world, it's a little easy sometimes to forget that. And one of the reasons there, of course, is because of this subject of plastic litter. And INEOS' stance is, look, there's no room for plastic litter. We should not be littering the environment. We have to find ways of stopping that.
So much plastic is being carelessly discarded, yet it is such a useful material. The solution to managing the issue requires a considered approach.
If we look at plastics and the environment, then really it's not the material itself. It's really how society is actually using the material and taking responsibility for it. In that case, really, mismanagement of the material.
We need to address solutions for litter, for plastic litter, and we need to stop that. At the same time as we need to improve our resource efficiency, and that means recycling and the footprint of the polymers we make. And the commonality between those two is really that we have to regard plastics as valuable, and plastics are valuable.
That value underpins the 4 pledges INEOS has committed to meeting by 2025. INEOS will offer a range of polyolefin products for packaging applications in Europe containing 50% or more recycled content. INEOS will use, on average, 30% recycled content in products destined for polystyrene packaging in Europe. INEOS will incorporate at least 325 kilotons per year of recycled material into products. And INEOS will ensure 100% of polymer products can be recycled.
Retaining the value in plastic is really important because we've got a huge resource, and that resource needs to be captured at end of life. So it's a huge waste for that material then to end up on a landfill site.
Across its businesses, INEOS is already mechanically recycling much of its highly engineered specialty product. And at INEOS's Technology Centre in Brussels, this idea is being taken to the next level. Here, scientists are looking at ways to turn used, discarded plastic back into a material fit for purpose once again.
It's extremely difficult to take a bunch of recycled plastic that we'll get from the rubbish bins and then transform that really quickly and easily into something that's of value again. So a huge amount of work goes into that in these labs, where we combine that original piece of waste plastic with various different things to make sure it gets into a good state again.
At the lab, used plastic is carefully analysed to work out its components. The team then calculate exactly what they will need to add to the old product in order to return it to a safe and usable state.
We've spent decades developing plastics, ever more sophisticated plastics for ever more sophisticated uses. We want to use that expertise and kind of reverse engineer the process to using recycled plastics as the way we'll make new plastics in the future.
At the end of the day, we are throwing away something that's highly valuable, highly engineered, and there's absolutely no reason we shouldn't be bringing that back to life. It's actually a source of raw material. It's another source of feedstock for us, which we can now sort of bring back into the system and add further value to.
This approach demonstrates how, within INEOS, plastic is seen as much more than a product to be disposed of. And reusing waste plastic is a concept that is being developed even further over at INEOS Styrolution.
Sustainability and circular economy gained large momentum in recent months at INEOS Styrolution, and our mission is here to jointly work on high-class ways of recycling. What we are trying to do is to push for so-called chemical recycling, which allows quality of polymers that is the same as the original quality.
Through this new chemical recycling process, the team in Frankfurt have turned waste polystyrene back into its original chemical building blocks. From there, they have successfully recreated new, fresh polystyrene.
We were able to make polystyrene out of such a post-consumer recycled polystyrene. So again, as far as we know, this is the first time. We want by 2020 to demonstrate that we will be able to make larger amounts of polystyrene by that technology.
This is a huge breakthrough for the future of plastic manufacturing, and this work continues to advance. INEOS, through its research, development and pledges, is fully committed to leading the way towards a circular economy, where used material sustains new products.
You can see that INEOS is committed to the circular economy. We're trying to make that happen. We are keen to take a leadership role in bringing some of the technologies to market because we want to make use of the plastic waste.
Big dream is that we don't use as much oil into the front end of our process, that instead we use waste plastics. Not just what's going into the environment today, but maybe even go into old landfills and pull out the old plastics that were put there 20 years ago and use that for the new plastic. That would be utter success.
I think this is a really exciting time because this is the opportunity to innovate and to really think outside the box. This is where we can make a difference, and it really starts here.
That's all we have time for on this edition of INTV. We've had lots of exciting investment stories, and we look forward to reporting to you on how they progress. We'll be back soon to tell you more about the INEOS story. Until then, thanks for watching.